How's it going, YouTube? My name is Cars Kick, and I am going to be doing a Let's Play for StarDrive 2 with the new Sector Zero DLC enabled. I've been a big fan of StarDrive 2 ever since it came out. In fact, I've been a big fan of StarDrive 1. I know over the years that Zero has gotten some flack for abandoning StarDrive 1, going straight to 2, and charging again. I totally respect the way he's gone with it. I think StarDrive 2 is a great game, and I love the changes that have been made since 1 overall. Excuse me. So today I'm gonna do a new game just to show you guys some of the changes of StarDrive 2 and just to show off the game in general, and for me to practice a Let's Play because I really haven't done a whole lot of recording and I'd like to get into it. So I'm gonna customize a race. I'm gonna do the Bears. I really like their ships. It's kind of unique in StarDrive. All the races have their own ships, which I think is really cool, but it does give some races an advantage over others. One clutch crutch that I have is that I really like creative. I really like that addition. It allows you to have all the technologies, but it's very costly, so you have to make some sacrifices to do it. But I really enjoy it, and for those of you that haven't played it, you'll get a little chance to see what that's all about. But basically, it allows you to get all the technologies in the tree branch instead of just a single technology, so I think that's pretty cool. You know what, this time I'm not going to care about diplomacy. I'm just going to plan on killing everybody or just avoiding them. So I'm going to take that as my sacrifice and leave everything else neutral, and that will make me even points-wise. So let's get started. Name doesn't matter. Alrighty, so some of the cool differences between StarDrive 2 Vanilla and the Sector Zero is the system count. We now can get extremely huge. Hopefully performance has been improved enough to accommodate larger galaxies. I really haven't gotten much to late game in Sector Zero yet with extremely large galaxies, but I know in the past versions sometimes lag would become an issue, especially in large battles with a large galaxy with a lot going on. So hopefully that has improved. I'm also going to make it hard. It does make trading more difficult, but again, I'm not going to focus on trading, but it does make the AI a little more fun to play against. So, my name is Cars Kick. That's fine. My race will be the Cars Kick Bears. That sounds fun. So, we'll be Republic. So, it'll be the Cars Kick Republic. That's very creative. So, red. Let's see how large. Well, we don't want to get too big, so I'm going to make it a little on the smaller side. Something fun is the fertility. That's basically how many Terran-type planets you'll encounter and how fertile in general the galaxy is. Makes it easy to farm. This one is the same thing for mineral and resources and how rich the galaxy is. So I'm going to leave it at classic for now. Hostile threats classic. Game length is also interesting. It allows you to adjust how long techs take to research. So if you want a longer early game with lower tech, you increase this. Otherwise, you leave it low. So there's also, this is something he added just recently in a patch. Basically allows you to enable the new victories that you can have. Before you had to kill everybody, which most of the time, probably like most players, I just quit by the time I ruled 60-70% of the galaxy. So now there's other ways to win. After 1,000 turns, I believe it is, you automatically, the scores are calculated, the game ends. That's what score victory is. Tooltips don't seem to be working. Anyway, tech victory, I'm not sure exactly what the details are because I can't get a tooltip, but I know it has something to do with having a lot of technology and being the best there. Expansion is just owning a big portion of the galaxy, which I personally like. So, I'll just leave those enabled for now. Don't need tutorials. That's all good, so let's get started. So a little history, StarDrive 1 has been out for quite a while, and once 2 came out, Zero did kind of abandon it. That's why people sometimes are mad at him about that, but I really respect all that he has done as a developer, developing this entire game basically by himself. I'm sure he had some help here and there, but overall it was mostly him. So the first thing you'll notice, as opposed to the traditional StarDrive 2 vanilla, is these hex tiles. So even though it's a turn-based slash real-time game, if you played StarDrive 2 before, you know what I mean. Unlike StarDrive 1, which is all real-time, you're not just one ship per tile. You actually move around within that tile, and in this case, in most cases, the tile encompasses a galaxy, a solar system, and or an anomaly, and or a place you can build a star base. So We'll get to that in a bit. Star bases are something new too that I will want to show you. So let's get started. Choose our first research. I will start with Rover Bay. Makes it easy to get production early on. Now, as you see, because I am a creative race, I now will get both of these races instead of, both of these technologies instead of just one. So Xeno mining allows me to do more production per worker, whereas this is a flat rate bonus with a small per worker production increase. So both are very helpful and will really help me produce a lot of things early on. Next, I'll probably do the farming, which kind of does the same thing for farming. And because I'll get all the technologies, it will really give me a boost, especially early on. Construction, I'm going to expand pretty quick, and I'll probably need freighters. Let me look and see what the planets around me are like that I can see. It's a barren planet, abundant, all pretty much barren. This one's radiated. Not going to give us much food all around. So transporting food is going to be important early game for me in this situation. So freighters are going to be a necessity, so I'm going to start with that. Now, I've played before, so I will see, or you will see, some of the different ships that I've made. The Fair and Balanced is kind of my standard cruiser, and I have a whole range of them. One thing really cool about StarDrive is as you play the races multiple times, it keeps track of all your ships. So you'll get to see some of my designs from before, as well as I'll probably make some new ones. But that'll be good to start off, so let's get exploring. So we get a colony ship, an exploration ship, pretty standard for 4X games. And an unexplored anomaly. We can see what's over here. Before I colonize, I'm going to kind of check my neighboring system, see what's over there. Let's see. Colony ship. Kind of just head in this general direction for now. And let's go. So basically, when you hit spacebar, you'll proceed 0.1 turns. So it's kind of cool how they have that, and everything kind of moves real time. And you can see it takes several tenths of a turn to move through a hex tile. So you're not just one turn per tile or something like that. Ooh, very nice. Look at this. Ultra rich Terran. 0 of 12. Man, I'm glad I didn't colonize yet, because that is exactly what I would want. It's pretty much a perfect planet. That almost never happens. Asteroid belts are often pretty helpful as well, especially with the creative technologies, because I get a lot of techs that help me really implement some cool buildings and things that benefit the asteroids. Hello and welcome to the GNN, the Galactic News Network, broadcasting to you live from a highly secure location. This hasn't changed, and a lot of the events that you'll see are the same as vanilla StarDrive 2. There are new ones, according to Zero, quite a lot of them, but I did notice on my first personal playthrough of this game that there are a lot of repeats. I'm guessing it's probably a lot more late game content, which I haven't really explored yet since the expansion came out. So there we go. If you played StarDrive 2, you've seen all this before. We'll just skip on through. Let's go and get this colony going. Oops, didn't make my explorer ship continue. Let's go a little further into deep space. Sometimes I found it's better not to explore deep space early on. Gravity penalty. Oh, it's heavy G. Oh, that's not too bad still. Sometimes it's better not to explore too much early, especially on harder difficulty levels, because then the AI will see you sooner and will be more likely to come after you early game, where they may really have that advantage, especially if you are running on a higher difficulty level. So I've got freighters. I'm not going to really focus on food production here. I'm going to make sure my food production at my first colony is sufficient. And it was bad of me. I didn't choose construction home. It's always a good idea to queue a few things up, because if you forget, the game doesn't always remind you, and I wish it defaulted to trade goods when nothing else was happening, because it's just free money. So why that doesn't happen automatically, I'm not quite sure of. I think that would be a cool upgrade. But anyway, for now, I am going to do... well, let's see what other ships I have available to me. Explorer, Long Talon, and Talon Striker. None of my previously made ships are available. Oops, didn't mean to do that. You know what, I'm going to focus on my small ships for now. I've got a few cool designs already here. Swallow missiles. That's what I want my enemy to do with this ship. So that's what I'm going to start with. Let's have them swallow some missiles. Just to give you an idea of what that design looks like. 2 rocket cannons on either side. No arc extends. They're nice and cheap, though it does limit the range of effect. But the idea is he would orbit the enemy and thus be able to just shoot from either his left or right. Vulcan cannon's kind of more defensive. But yeah, good start. Anyway, get a few of those to help defend our colonies. And then over here, we haven't put construction in yet, which we're going to change now. Let's see. I will want to do the production upgrades, but we have a few turns left before that happens. So for now, we'll just focus on getting a little bit of a fleet going. Starbase will be important later on, but that's going to take way too long to make now, so we'll just put it down the queue. Infantry base down the road as well, same with Fleet Academy. So I'll go and queue those up, so if I forget to put something there, at least they'll be working on something. Excuse me. Fleet Academy as well will be important. It allows your ships to be higher level upon production, which is helpful in battle. Okay. I finished my freighters. I've got food. As you can see, my food net is positive. I'm now trading, so we are good. Let's go ahead and keep exploring. Nothing there, just gas giants. Garbage, not useful. Let's just go here. One thing I find interesting is with the hex system, they automatically, instead of taking the as the crow flies route, they kind of follow these hex tiles. I found sometimes that's cool and sometimes it's actually annoying. We might see that later. But for now, we are good. Yeah, decent planets, nothing fantastic. See what's over here. Oh, right, wow, we're producing quickly over here already thanks to the ultra rich 6 production per turn. So actually it's not going to take too long to build anything here. And we'll grow in 46 turns, which is helpful. Another thing that is cool, and you can do this early on even, is to actually transport your guys over to the other colony, which actually might be a good idea in this case instead of sending the food over there. I don't think it's going to really matter too much now. We'll just leave it how it is. Once your population reaches the maximum, you definitely want to do that. Send your extra civilians over to your new planets to help them grow more quickly. Okay, so just producing for now. We got 3 more turns, so let's go ahead and blow through these and get to that. There we go. Okay, that music's kind of loud. I should probably turn that down. But the cool thing is we get both technologies, so it's a 2-for-1. I'm going to go and turn the music down just a little bit. Oh, it already is. I'll just keep everything low. I guess they don't consider that music. Anywho, so let's choose our new research, which it will actually remind you. I wish it did that for construction as well, or had the option to, so that if you hadn't assigned construction somewhere, it'll be like, hey, before you continue, you should assign some construction here, or at least, like I said, make it automatically go to trade routes so it produces some extra money. This is what I want to do next. The farming. Those are nice upgrades for early on, especially when we start colonizing these planets around here that are not Terran. And I am going to want to do these upgrades. This one's going to be more helpful here. Move it just after swallow missiles. This is a per worker increase, which is nice, especially once you have a lot of workers. Right now we just have 1, so I'm going to hold off on that here. At this planet, we're only using 1 for now, though we actually have a surplus of food, thanks to that extra. Well, I'm not sure why that is now. But anyway, we have a surplus of food, so now we can actually utilize our person for working. It's going to end up being the same. It's going to be 6 either way. This one's cheaper. As you can see, the Xenon mine is actually 150 points required to build it, whereas the Rover Bay is 50. Move that up a little bit. There we go. Get that in the right order. And I used to, in the old version a long time ago, before he patched it, I don't know why he changed it, but it used to be able to just leave trade goods at the bottom and then add things above it. But now, anytime you add something, it gets rid of the trade goods no matter where it is, which is kind of dumb. So I kind of wish he would fix that, because I like having trade goods available to make extra money, because extra money is good. Let's see, there's some maintenance. We are still making money overall, so that is nice. Anything else I need to check? I think we need to give our explorer a new destination. Yeah, we explored over here. Got a little bit of stuff going on. Got a few anomalies to check out. Let's go and see what's going on. I don't want to get too far into the galaxy until I have a decent fleet. So right now, I've just got the one small Corvette. And so I got an upgrade here. So the protophyll is a nanobiotic hybrid organism that thrives on eating pollution. Well, that's nice. The more toxic, the better. For each protophyll cache processed, you enjoy a negative 5%. I'm sorry, possessed. For each protophyll cache possessed, you enjoy a 5% reduction throughout your empire of pollution. That's nice. If we get 4 of those, we gain 10% approval for each empire. So they are air fresheners. That is awesome. Pollution is a huge problem in this game later on. It hurts your production and can eventually hurt your food production as well. Oh, very cool. While mapping Sector 4049, our fleet was hailed by a ship of unknown classification. It's a mysterious traveler. The content of the transmission was unexpected. It is apparently complete and detailing schematics of the technology that we are currently researching. With this data dump, we can now complete our research immediately. As for the ship that gave us the information, it warped away shortly after the transmission. We could not detect it. Somehow he knew what I was researching and gave it to me. Very cool. Wait a second. We already had this. Okay, that's a weird glitch. Huh! So it gave us the food research, but it said the production research that we had already done. Automated rubber bay and xenomine, but we already had that. We were even building it. And we were researching these. Well, it gave us the right stuff, told us the wrong info. Zero, take note of that one if you watch this. There's still a lot of little bugs here and there. I haven't encountered too many debilitating ones. Most of them you can work around, or they're just little things like that. But still, overall, a very fun game. So, what should we do next? These researches, these cost a lot less research to get, so we'll get them a lot quicker. So one of these 3. This one is mostly for building ships, so is this. Research lab is nice early on, and so is, well, that's not really helpful early on. That's mostly a ship upgrade, but the research increase will be nice, so let's go ahead and get that, especially since I'm going to try to expand early. With that being said, whichever planet has the most production, I'm going to go and queue up a colony. Okay, I guess I can't click this for some reason. There we go. Colony ship, that is. Still have to make the rubber bay. Let's plan on making a colony ship after the rubber bay is complete. That'll allow us to expand early. Over here, kind of do the same thing. Okay. Oh, we got a new worker. Oh, well, we had that because we moved him over. Fantastic. Okay. More swallow missiles. So it tells you over here when you complete construction, but it doesn't always tell you if there is no construction currently at a planet. So it'll be just sitting there doing nothing for you. Welcome back to GNN. Today marks the beginning of a new segment, and we're calling it racial profiling. Well, that sounds mean. So it's one of my competitors, the Wolf guys, the Volfar. Who are they? This happens every game, always has since StarDrive 2 came out. Basically kind of gives you a personality profile of that race. Interesting. Anyway, haven't encountered anybody yet. I guess we can continue exploring. Forgot to tell my... It's easy to forget to do things in this game. You know, that kind of just depends on your personality. That's just kind of how it is. That's okay overall, but especially late game, it's easy to forget to do a lot of things. It's not like Civ, where it reminds you to move every guy every turn. So, a little bit different there than Civilization, for those of you that play that. Let's see what's over here. Our fleet in Sector 3948 has discovered a deep space probe created by a race of beings who, at the point this probe was launched, were clearly in the infancy of their space program. The probe remains in remarkably good shape despite being somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 years old, judging by the pitting of the micrometeorites. Haha, reading is good. Impacts. The probe itself is rather unremarkable. At one point in our past, we launched a similar probe. It contains charts indicating the home system of this probe, music, art, and other data. The race is unfamiliar to us. We have added a waypoint on the galactic map should we wish to visit the home. Alright, cool. So like a Voyager probe type thing. Let's see if we can see it on the map. That must be this. Maybe. I'm not sure. Okay, anyway, let's continue. So where should we explore next? Let's see. This is a nebula. It's purple. It's not telling us much about it on a tooltip. I guess you gotta click on it. Blue nebula. Oh, yeah. Which is nebula. Red nebulas are easily detectable on long-range scanners and are revealed at the start of the game. Such nebulas will limit your speeds to 10 AU. While inside this sector, the particle density of red nebulas reduce the effective range of energy weapons by 50%. Deep space construction is not possible here, and sensors will not function. Okay. The blue nebula. Blue nebulas are easily detectable on long-range scanners and are revealed at the start of the game. Such nebulas will limit the speed of your fleets to 10 AU per turn while inside the sector, etc., etc. Okay, so surrounded by a bunch of nebulas here, almost on every side. Nothing really detrimental, it looks like. Let's go see what's over here. Though before we go, I'm going to run out of gas, so you can tell by this little bar here, and the fact that it says the percentage just below my ship of how much fuel I'm going to have by the time I get there. So you can see I can't go very far. So I'm going to go back to my planet real quick. Now one thing I wish you could do in this game is hold shift. Like I'm holding shift now and right clicking to queue up orders. Unfortunately you cannot do that. You also cannot create control groups in this mode. In the battle mode you can, but here you cannot, both of which are things I wish the game had. There is a fleet list. It's a little clunky. If I can find it, there we are. It gets overwhelming late game, unfortunately, and hard to use. If you name your fleets, it is better, which I guess you have to actually go there, name your fleet. Also, if you click on it here, there's nowhere to really just tell it to go straight to your guy. It does, but it's in the background, so then you have to know to close it to be able to highlight him. And there you can rename it, and the other screen you can't. So there's a lot of little quirks like that in this game that you have to learn to just work around. Hopefully as time progresses, he will add those little details into the game. Actually, there's another unexplored anomaly here, so after we refuel, we will go explore that one. Doing rover bays, so we're just going to kind of blow through a few turns. Another mysterious traveler and technology improvement. So that's cool. Oh, here's something else. We have recently received reports of several different sources of a band of outlaws operating somewhere beyond the edge of our space. Apparently leading some sort of debris field at the staging area. They have become aware of our growing economy and intend to raid us. Uh-oh. It doesn't sound like they're a huge threat, but we should be prepared to defend ourselves against any unexpected raids into our territory. In the longer term, we might find it necessary to track down their base and destroy it. Ha! So again, they're telling me I'm getting technologies that I already have, but hopefully it will actually give me the ones I was researching, which it did. So again, works correctly. Gave me the tooltip from 2 research completions ago. Very strange. Okay. So next, we'll go and complete these weaker or lower end technologies before we continue on up here. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I really like the Imperial Bank. It gives you money. I'm going to do that first before I focus on any of these. And I'm going to send my exploration ship elsewhere. So he uses fuel when he's outside of my empire, but while in the empire he does not. So this is what I mean here. Instead of taking a direct route here and then here, he kind of wraps around. I guess he wants to go through and follow like a trade route type plot. Okay, I'll just let him do it. But that's new in the DLC. What do we got going on at the planet? Still building those automation rover bays. That one just finished. This one's just finished. Cool. So now we're going to build things a lot more quickly. You can see our production at our new colony is already at 10. 26 more turns till we get a new civilian. Cool. Same thing at both, though this one has a little more pollution. Pollution becomes an issue, especially on Terran and planets that you farm on, because if you pollute it too much, the atmosphere will become polluted and gives you a farming disadvantage. Not a good thing to have happen. Oh, and that reminds me, I now have other upgrades to implement. No, I don't. Uh-oh, that is a bad glitch. Really bad glitch. So now I can't build these things at all. Wait a second. It says I have them. It says I have these. And I don't have those, even though the game says it gave it to me, and I guess I just can't get them now. Wow, so that's a very debilitating glitch, as it turns out. And it happened on 2 of my important technologies. Okay, so... Ugh. Yeah, that's really gonna hurt me. This might be a restart here. Well... Let's just play a little longer, see what happens. Maybe it'll fix itself, but that is going to be a huge annoyance. There's not much you can do about that because that's just kind of a random event. Oh, it's Zap Brannigan's brother. Or his distant cousin. Zap Groaning. The daring idiot. Nah, I'm good. Yeah, he doesn't like that I told him no. Whatever. Anyway. I'm gonna get these 2 fleets together, so I'll actually have a little bit of a force. Making a colony ship at both places. Really wish I could build my research bays and things, which now I can't. We met somebody, the Drela Council. I really don't want to talk to you. You don't like me already. That's fine. I don't like you either. Oh, you're right here next to me. Great. So, that's our first encounter. So one thing in this game that I highly recommend, especially as they continue to patch it, is to save often. Now, there have been some auto-saves automatically. That's my other game. But I didn't save this game yet, as you could probably tell. With that, I now can't go back after I realized those technologies aren't actually there. However, I didn't even realize it until several turns later. But if you save often and you do encounter a bug, you can go back and avoid it a lot of the time. And he can take damage for all I care. He's going to heal himself anyway. Oh, there are the raiders. Okay, so we'll at least get a battle before the game ends. I may not make it back in time. Okay, so with that, I am just going to fight the raiders with my starbase. Now, this is new in the DLC. It tells you the command point value of the different ships. So mine is 3, his are 4, probably 2 plus 2, I'm assuming. The relative firepower. So I have a firepower advantage, he has a health advantage. If I clicked auto, if these numbers are what I would think they would mean, I would win. Let's go ahead and watch the fight. So one other thing that I would love for Zero to add in this game is the ability to increase time instead of just decrease it. You have the ability to slow time, slow motion, which is very helpful late game because it gets so laggy, and that does help. It also allows you to control and see what's going on when you're managing a big fleet. However, if you want to speed it up, you can't. So we are just going to have to wait while these ships try to bob and weave my weapon shots. The bob and weaving is pretty cool. It makes it harder for me to hit with certain weapons. In fact, almost all weapons, even guided weapons, can be tricked by that. Some good shots there. but it does slow the battle down a little bit. Oh, there's some good missile shots. So we can see some damage there. He's lost some missile launchers and some armor on his right side. This guy's getting hurt on his left. Now that's artillery. You get that early game. These are the long-range missiles, very slow but very powerful. And those are the standard top-of-the-line laser cannons, which he also has. That's these guys here. Actually, I've got the lighter ones, which are the turrets. Ooh, one down. And he's got the forward-facing cannons. But he is not going to live to see another day from the looks of it. He's going down pretty quickly. So his ship is destroyed when all of the components in the middle have been destroyed, which is about to happen, and there it is. So, my starbase has defended itself without the help of my fleet, so that's cool. Cool, so I got an event for killing those raiders. Junk field cleared. As we suspected, the junk field was home to the band of hostile pirates. With their infestation cleared, we were able to scan the interior of the junk field. I don't remember finding the junk field. They attacked me, so that's kind of strange that that would be the event. Our scientists have concluded that this cloud of debris marks the site of some ancient and massive battle. Okay. Unfortunately, we can learn very little about the nature of the combatants, as the debris appears to be many thousands of years old, and while most of the debris has been thoroughly eroded by cosmic radiation and pickling by junkers, there is still some value to be found here. We gained 50 research points. Uh-oh. Hope it doesn't mess up my research again. Okay. Okay, looks like it's okay. It didn't mess up my research, so that's still plugging along. We got a new colony ship. Oh, right. So, when colonizing planets, you can just kind of look around and look at the different planets to see their basic stats. But if you press F2 and click the planet tab here, you get a nice chart of everything that you've explored. So, I want to see a planet that is high in minerals and size. So I'm going to click minerals. Again, there we go. We're sorting that way. And then size. Here we go. So 3 production per worker, 7 max pop. 3 production per worker, 6 max pop, but they have a gravity, what do you call it? Sorry, I'm drawing a blank, guys. A gravity penalty. There we are. That one gives you the habitats, which is why we have a lot larger populations. That's going to be the better way to go. Let's take a look at that one. That's this one here. Okay, cool. So, let's go ahead and send our colony vessel over here. Exploration frigate is ready to go again. Let's send him this way. And we're off. Another colony ship. Go and colonize the neighboring planet. Now, we should be okay on food. Oh, we need freighters, actually, so we will not be okay on food. That being said, I have 2 options now. I could build another freighter, which could work. Or, because this is a Terran planet up here, and I now have 2 workers. I'm sorry, I read it wrong. There are 2 freighters available, none in use, because we now have a farmer here. He built automatically, and that's what he decided to do. So, cool. Okay, so we are all set to colonize these, and they will be well fed. If you do not have food and or freighters available for them, and you colonize a planet where there is no food, or you tell them to not produce food, then what will happen is, after a few turns, they will all die. And then your colony will disappear. Oh, shoot. That is a lot of crystals. A lot of crystals. So at this point I have the ability to fight, in which case I can manually tell him to withdraw, or I could use the auto feature. Now in the past, the auto feature has not worked in these kinds of situations. I just get demolished. So I'm going to try to do it manually to see if I can get him to escape. Found the best way to escape these battles. It's quite a fleet. Drag your ship all the way to the back of the deployment zone. Tell it to retreat first. Now, it'll make no indication that it's going to do it, except for the fact that the button lights up, so you have to be aware of that. But when you click begin, it will start its retreat. Now, depending on the speed and range of the fleet, you may or may not escape. since exploration frigates do not have a whole lot of defense. They're basically just giant fuel tanks. Looks like we're going to make it. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage warp engines, and we are out of there. Cool, and we have escaped. What commonly happens when you retreat is you'll get stuck in this loop of every time you get back to this screen, it will re-engage the battle with the same ships. And, oops, then you either have the option to try to retreat again, or just go ahead and fight and or let your ships die, if that is what will happen. But now we have a potential serious problem. If he attacks with that, I really don't have anything to defend with. So, let's see what happens. Let's go ahead and start these colonies. 2 colonies. Set up some construction. Now, unfortunately, I still don't have my research and or food production facilities, which again is going to be a huge hindrance in the long run, since these planets really, normally I would put all of that stuff on them. So that's going to be a huge problem. But for now, let's just go ahead and continue. Rover Bay, Starbase, Xenomine. Let's go and queue everything up. Same thing at this planet. Okay, that's fine. Let's see what we're building at the other planets. Everybody's doing something. Great. Okay. Onward. My ships are over here. Got one over here. I'm going to go and send them to the front line. I guess they decided to go with the colony frigate. I did not mean to do that, or the colony ship. More racial profiling. The humans don't want to hear about it. Let's move on. Alright, so let's continue. Not a whole lot happening now. We got a mining completion here. Our freighters are good. We are maxed out on freighters, so I like to try to keep a buffer there. Now that we just finished our construction here, let's go ahead and queue up the freighters. And I do eventually want to build some larger ships. So let's go ahead and let's design a new ship. I'm going to design a medium ship. So we have the Talon Striker is one option we have now, which is an okay basic design. All energy-based weapons, so you're not going to run out of ammo. Long Talon is all missile ordnance-based. And your Explorer, I'm going to go and make a new one. Okay. So now we have several options. Artillery, it's okay. You saw it fight earlier on the Starbase when I was being attacked by those raiders. It's okay. It doesn't always hit, but it does do a lot of damage, and it requires ordnance. These rockets are pretty cool. The turret rockets are basically small, quick-firing rockets. That's what I have on my small ships right now. These are the long-range slow missiles, and these are essentially small, slower versions of what comes out of the turret. I do want to have a little bit of armor since I don't have any shields, otherwise I will get killed very quickly. But I want a balance of long and short range. So those will be my long range weapons, and then I'm going to put a big dual turret cannon on the front. Now, one thing I do really like is the ability to put modifiers on your ship pieces, your whatever you call them, the things that go on your ship, equipment, we'll call it. So what I do want to do is arc extend, which right now this is only forward firing in the front 90 degrees. You can see that in the tooltip there. If I add arc extend, now it'll do the front 180 degrees, so my ship can turn more, fire on more enemies, depending on how it is positioned. Extra range will improve my damage at range as well as the maximum range. Rapid fire makes it shoot more quickly but requires more energy. I'm going to go ahead and max these out. And in fact, I'm going to do the same thing with these rockets. Rapid fire, The arc's not terribly important with these. They can be just a standard arc is fine. In fact, they have a 90-degree arc. I think in the older version of the game, they must have patched this. It was a narrower arc anyway, which 90 degrees is fine for these kinds of rockets. So that's fine. I do want to put a command center in here. Basically, that increases sensor range and gives you a damage bonus and reduces the amount of upkeep the ship has. Definitely going to need some energy. That's all I've got right now is a basic reactor. Go and just fill this up with reactors. So when I'm building a ship over here on the right, these are the numbers that I'm going to be looking at. This is how much it's going to cost to produce it, determines how long it takes, how much production is required. This tells you how much storage you have for ordnance-based weapons. This is the power generation. It tells you how much power net your ship produces. So whatever's left over is what you can use for your special abilities and for your energy-based weapons. When you run out of energy, your energy-based weapons cannot fire. If this number is negative, certain things may not work. And that's how much power storage you have, which we need to have some power storage or our energy weapons will not fire. So we're going to put a few capacitors on the ship. Sacrifice some armor here. It's probably actually more than it needs. In fact, since these don't take a whole lot of energy, we're just going to replace a reactor. And we still are positive 48. It says the weapon drain is 18. Sometimes these numbers are deceiving. You can't just add them up and say, oh, well, I'm positive, so I'm never going to run out of energy, because that doesn't actually work that way on fancier energy weapons. You got to have lots of extra energy available. Ship speed is 0 because I haven't put engines on it yet. Let's go ahead and put engines on it. Medium or small is all that's going to fit here. And since all I have is basic engines, which are not very powerful, I'm going to just max it out. You only put engines on the back of the ship. You have the option to armor it. Makes your ship heavier and more expensive to make, but your butt's covered, you could say. Oh, my energy went negative, so I guess I did not have enough energy to do this. So I've got a reactor shortage issue. Let's see. If I put the two here, the two reactors there, I lose some speed, but now I get all the energy I need, and I don't have to put anything up here. In the front, I really want to have a bunch of armor. And there are some armor upgrades, makes it more expensive and heavier. Let's go ahead and do that, at least in the front. Where are you? Actually, that costs energy, which I don't have a surplus of. So never mind, I am not going to use those upgrades. Just go with standard for now. Those upgrades are, just for those of you that are curious, which I accidentally use them again on the small ones. The upgrades are basically your defense against different types of weapons. So a blade of armor is treated with an ionic glazing that dissipates energy weapons. So reminds me of Star Trek when they didn't have shields in the series Enterprise and they would charge their armor plating. That's probably about what that is in reference to. Reactive armor utilizes shaped micro-explosive to counter-explode against incoming explosive fire, reducing the weapon damage done. Cool. Well, can't afford those, sorry, so we're just going to use standard armor. And there's our completed ship. So, we'll call this the, let's see, it's a frigate, so, we'll call it the Little Frigate of Doom, Mark 1. Cool. There we go. So now I'm going to go ahead and queue a couple of these guys up. And let's see. Oh, we have to... Oh, I can't make it. The ship design is invalid. Really? Then why'd you let me save it? Get back there. Come on, game. Let me back. Shipyard. So the checklist. Ammo! I forgot ammo. It's not a glitch. That is my bad. Without ammo, these rockets will not fire. And apparently that ordnance storage is telling me is just not enough. So we are going to have to put some ordnance on this ship. There we go. Now we have 74 seconds of rocket fire. That is fine. Okay. My bad, guys. Now let's try to produce some. Still can't. Do I have to re-add it? I still can't. Okay. Now what's the issue? Ammo. I have ammo. Interesting. Okay. Not quite sure what that means. Okay, well, this is going to be interesting because none of this is working the way it should. Just for fun, let's try a new design. And it says it has ammo already. Interesting. Let's throw the rockets on there. Rocket, rocket. Says it has ammo. Okay. I was going to say, I didn't think it required you to actually put those ammo boxes. Just going to try to quickly recreate that ship. Okay. Then we need our energy weapons. Get all of our bonuses. And then our ammo. And now again, same problem. When did that happen? Oh! Oh! I see what it's saying. Oh, gotcha. Not very well explained, but again, it is my bad. I did not... I had a capacitor and then I deleted it, so yeah. That means this does not have the quote-unquote ammo required. I need a capacitor, otherwise that's actually cool because it didn't used to do that. Your energy weapon would just not work, so that is nice. I wish I explained it better. But essentially the power storage is 0, which means you have to have a power capacitor somewhere. So I'll replace one of the ammo boxes with that. Perfect. So now we have the energy to fire. Save over our design. Which now it just switched to. Okay. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Energy weapons draw their power from their ammo from power capacitors, which refill automatically. Ordnance needs weapons locker. If it is yellow, then you may want to add more ordnance lockers or more energy weapons or more power generators. Huh. But it's yellow. It's just want 2 of them? No. So this is definitely a change. My power is definitely positive. I definitely have ammo. Not sure why it's unhappy with me. Does it want me to have more ammo? Oh. I guess it wants me just to have more ammo. Now it's satisfied. Okay. So I guess it'll let you do it when it's yellow, but it recommends more ammo because you just run out quickly. Okay, so we lost a little more armor, but our ship is viable. So let's go ahead and give her a shot. Sorry about those issues, guys. Hopefully that'll help you guys if you have similar issues. You may see exactly what those mean and what you would want to do in those cases. Little frigate of doom. We want to queue it up in places where we have lots of production. Yeah, I guess that's going to be one of the better places to do it. Xenomine's important. So this has a Xenomine, but it's really not giving me the bonus? It says it is. 3. Shouldn't it be 6? Production per worker, 3. I have 2 workers. Another glitch. Wow. So, looks like Zero's got a lot to fix in the current implementation because a lot of things are not adding correctly. Yeah, so, just for fun, Production actually went down. Riotous. That's interesting. Food shortage. They don't like food shortages. I don't blame them. I think that's new. I don't remember seeing that for food shortages. Interesting. Okay, so another little production bug there. Um, well, guys, let's go ahead and end it there. There's quite a few bugs still to be fixed. A lot of those bugs were not there before the DLC, so I am kind of disappointed to see those kinds of bugs. But it is still a great game, a lot of fun. They're still doing Zero's still doing a lot of patches. I've seen them do about 3 in the past week. I do encourage you to check it out. Hopefully this was helpful to you all, and I hope to do more videos soon. It's been a lot of fun, and I'll probably start a fresh one or have something kind of pre-made. We'll continue mid-game on one of my other adventures. Anyway, guys, I hope to see you soon. Hope this video was helpful, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great day.